You're probably using Google Shopping ads if you are watching this video, and maybe you also tried Google Search, but I bet that the vast majority of you guys didn't use the Google Display Network so far. And this is exactly what I want to talk about in today's video, because I talk a lot about Google Shopping and Google Search, and they are extremely relevant and important, but Google Display is also something that you may eventually want to have a look at and see whether it works for your business. So in today's video, I want to make you a little more familiar with the Google Display Network. I want to tell you what it really is, some general strategies on how to use it, and whether you should use it for your own business, because Google Display is definitely not for everyone. But I want to clarify a few things and make sure that after you watch this video, you know whether, first of all, you should use the Display Network, what the Display Network really is, and the first steps to get started with Google Display to put your e-commerce business to the next level. So stick with me till the end of this video. We will also be going to the computer, and I will then show you how to get started with Google Display and some general strategies. So let's move right to it, and I hope that you will enjoy this video and learn a lot for your own business. Alright guys, so here you see already a very famous example of a website using Google Display or Google AdSense, and this is bbc.com. So you can see here that you see all those different news, and then when you see this ad right here, it says at the bottom left, you can see the link called adclick.g.doubleclick.net. And when you scroll through the page, you will see that multiple times, and this already shows you that this website, bbc.com, is using Google AdSense, so that you can technically put ads on their website. And this is true for a ton of different websites, a ton of different forums or blogs and news sites that you visit. And this is really powerful, especially if you strategically use the websites where you want to appear on. So in this video, I want to quickly show you what you can generally do with Google display ads and when to use them. So we are here in my Google Ad account, and I create a new campaign and say that I want to create a campaign without a goals guidance. As always, I then hit on display, and now you can choose between smart display campaigns, Gmail campaigns, and standard display campaigns, right? So smart display, just as small shopping, they optimize all kind of things, bidding, targeting, and ads. Not really that useful in the very beginning, in my opinion. Gmail campaigns can also be quite interesting, but for now, let's use the standard display campaign because I just want to show you a few options that you have. Then as an example website, we simply use my Google Ads training, the eCom ppcacademy.com, and we hit continue. So what you can do now is you will see that you have plenty of ways to create a display network. And I can tell you up front already that the display network, in my personal order of Google Ad products that have the highest potential, it actually comes last. So if you look at Google Ads, and you have 4 different ad products, right? You have Google Shopping, you have Google Search, you have Google Display, and you have YouTube. Now, technically, you can count YouTube as a part of the Google Display Network, but I count them as 4 individual things. And I believe that the highest potential, especially for small and medium e-commerce businesses, is Shopping, then Search, then YouTube, because CPCs are so low, and then only the Display Network. So it's the least, it has the least potential out of these 4 products for small and medium businesses, but it still can be quite powerful if you do it the right way. So we give it a normal, let's say, display campaign test, and then you can choose the location where you want to show up. So let's say you want to show up in the United States. You have all kind of options when it comes to locations. You can also use several cities only, languages. What do you want to focus on? Conversions. I usually choose clicks in the beginning and say that I manually want to set my bids. And of course, your daily budget could be, for example, 10 euros. And then there are all kind of options, but as I told you, I want to give you a very brief strategic overview and not go into the ad creation part already. But the point is that now you have all kind of different things that you can choose your audience from, because in the Google Display Network, you don't choose your audience the way you do with Google Search and Shopping. With Search, you clearly define keywords. With Shopping, you have a feed, and then Google automatically detects what's relevant. On Google Display, you really specifically choose your audience, right? And you see here that in my case, the audience, here are a few YouTube audience that I have, past 7 days Google Ads viewers. This is an audience that I actually don't use anymore. It's an audience of people that have viewed one of my Google Ads videos, but it's just like a couple of them actually. Then subscribers and some other AdWords videos. So these are non-updated audience groups. But if you down there, you have all kind of different options when it comes to defining your audiences. So for example, affinity and custom affinity. So with affinity audiences, you can target audiences that are into a certain very broad topic actually. So for example, home and garden do-it-yourselfers, right? You can click on that and now you see that you get over, most likely still a few billion, still over 10 billion impressions if you go with the do-it-yourselfers in the United States. Now, as I said, this is a very broad audience. So these are not people that are about to buy a do-it-yourself product right away. These are just people that fit into this category because they visited a few websites, they did something that indicated to Google that they are interested in that topic, right? Same goes for home decor enthusiasts, for example. And this is like one way you can define your audience on Google, by going with those broad affinity audiences. At the same time, though, you can define your own custom affinity audience. So you can literally enter a name, and then down here you can enter interest, URL, places, and apps. So if you, let's say you want to sell pet products, right? And you want to define an audience that is interested in pets, and that's probably a little more accurate than a given affinity audience. You can technically just go ahead, click on URLs right here. Wait a second, URL. And then you can just simply add relevant pet websites that you want to build an audience from. Because how new custom affinity audiences work is you enter certain criteria, like I said, URLs and interest, and based on these, Google creates an audience of people that are most likely interested in these things. And the more items you add, the more relevant and the more specific this audience becomes. So if you enter like pet websites, pet blogs, maybe a pet online store, chances are that the people that Google builds off these elements is an audience that is very relevant to pets or dogs specifically or something. So this is one great way to define an audience. But there are also other ways, like, as I said, you can go with the affinity audiences, but you can also go with something called in-market audiences. And these are actually very, very interesting, because in-market means that these are people that are actively looking for products right now. So these affinity audiences, basically, they just say that someone is broadly interested in a topic. But in-market audiences are very interesting because they indicate that someone is looking for a product like this right now. So if we go, let's see if we can find something pet related, actually. Sports, home and garden, gifts. We probably can find if we look for pet, custom intent audience, auto-created online pet websites. Well, these are like custom intent. We want to do it right here. Let's just say, you have a different store that is related to baby stuff, right? So you can, for example, let's say you sell baby and toddler clothing. What you can do is you simply define an in-market audience of baby and toddler clothing. And what happens is Google now pulls people that are actively researching baby, and we will remove that. Google is now looking for people that are actively looking for baby and toddler clothing in their, everyday searches. Probably they entered relevant queries on YouTube. Probably they have been to several e-commerce websites so far looking for these exact products. And you see that those people are way more relevant to your business than the ones that are just broadly related to like a topic like do-it-yourself, right? Because this could mean that the person is just very generally interested in it, but the in-market audience shows that the person is looking for these products right now, and chances are that they still didn't make up their mind, or that they were still interested, or that they're still looking for these products. So if you manage to show up in front of them, this is of course very, very powerful for you. And you see that the impressions went down significantly from 10 billion plus to 3.6 billion, which is still a lot, but it means that you're actually on the way of defining an audience. Then you can choose other things like demographics, and I usually recommend that you give all of them ticked. As I said, this is not an in-depth video on how to set all these things up. This is something that I show in my training as well, and I think I also have one video about some other tips here. But I hope that you get the point that you can use the display network to show up on sites like BBC. BBC is a bad example because it's very general, and I personally prefer to show up on specific sites related to a topic. But you can use that to kind of, if you don't know how to really attract people based on what they're searching, you can attract them on sites where they didn't look for your product right now, but you still you kind of show them ads based on their past search history. So if you want to introduce them to a new product where probably search volume is very low at the moment, you can still do so because you take people that are interested in products like these, you show them an ad on whatever website it is, and on this ad you then introduce them to the product. Now it sounds a little complicated, but it's actually very, very straightforward. Now, in the very beginning, the reason why I told you that I don't recommend that to small budgets that much is that Google Display has very special learning curve. So the first dollars that you spend on Google Display, most likely they will be wasted. So you will show up on all kind of useless placements. You will show up probably to the wrong audiences because you have to test a lot. And these two things alone make it very clear that you need a higher budget in order to test a lot, because unlike shopping and search, Google Display is a lot about testing audiences, testing placements, testing whether it works on mobile or only desktop, testing whether it works on advertising your ads on mobile apps or only on websites, on YouTube, and all these things together already indicate that you need some money to start, right? And this is why in my order they come last after shopping, search, and YouTube. But if you have the budget, like if you have $100 per day or more or something like that, you can definitely run a little display campaign at the site and see whether you can convert some people, for example, by using in-market audiences and trying to convert them based on what they're currently looking for. Now, there is one exception to it, and these are remarketing campaigns. Remarketing campaigns on Google is something that I always recommend. Here, of course, you don't need a high budget because it's a totally different story when someone looked at your products before. So I usually run, with brand new businesses, running remarketing campaigns from like $5 to $10 a day. And with $5 a day, you can definitely get a lot of people back to your website. But the point is that this is something that you can, of course, use from scratch already. But if you want to use the display network for people that are not familiar with your business yet, keep in mind that you should try all the other things first, and only if they all don't work for you, or if you have enough money to also spend even more, then you should go into the display network and see what you can get there. Now, I hope that this video was helpful. It was a little confusing maybe because I was jumping a lot, but the point is I just wanted to give you an overview and give you like some ideas on what you can do with it. As I said in the very beginning, I didn't want to go like from A to Z, setting everything up, being super technical. I think this is a good introduction for those of you that are not familiar with the display network at all, especially in regards to e-commerce, to Shopify, etc., etc. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments whether you used the display network before, whether you plan to do so now. If you want to me to make more videos about this as well, unlike the past, always Google Shopping, Google Search, and stuff like this, let me know whether you also want to see more about this one here. And as always, if you want to master all Google Ads products for your e-commerce business and sell more consistently, of course, feel free to check out my training program, the eCom PPC Academy, in the description, where we also talk in depth about Google display network. Now, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Hope you got something of value out of it today, and I will hopefully see you in the next video as well, guys. Bye bye.